Hey everyone, it's Norm Farrar, aka the Beard Guy here, and welcome to another Lunch with Norm, the e-commerce and Amazon FBA podcast. Today, we're discussing practical ways to get your Amazon listing ready for Amazon AI. We're going to be talking about what ways Amazon is using AI, why Amazon's all in with AI, and what are the challenges Amazon sellers are going to face. All right. Welcome to another Lunch with Norm, the e-commerce and Amazon FBA podcast.
Lunch with Norm. Lunch with Norm. Lunch with Norm. Lunch with Norm.
All right, today we're going to be discussing practical ways to get your listing ready for Amazon AI. Our guest is the CEO of Product Opinion. He's a seasoned Amazon seller with over a decade of experience building multiple seven-figure brands. Today, a returning guest, Matt Kostan. But before we get to Matt, we're going to have a brief shout out to one of our sponsors, Seller Basics. Hey, Amazon sellers ever faced with account suspensions, ASIN hiccups, or IP headaches? Introducing Seller Basics, your Amazon accounts guardian, with just $99 per month or code NORM, $89 per month. Seller Basics offers a dedicated team to shield your business from these challenges. Plus, this membership offers free legal consultations from seasoned e-commerce attorneys. And there's no long-term contracts, and you can cancel it just within 30 days. View Seller Basics as your Amazon accounts health plan, and you can check them out at sellerbasics.com. Now for the disclaimer, Seller Basics is not an insurer or law firm. Consultations come from independent firms. Results may vary. Membership is needed before events leading to claims, and terms apply. All right, now let's get back to Kels. Hopefully his mic's working.
I don't know, is it?
It sounds like it's working today.
All right, there we go.
Woo, whoop, whoop.
All right, so how are you doing? What's up?
I'm doing okay. I'm doing okay.
Right.
Yep. Yeah, it's been warm, so I'm fine. Cigar weather. Had two yesterday.
It is cigar weather. I took a little peek outside today, and it's pretty nice. All right, so Beer Nation, we got Steve joining us, Cool Hand 99, and Jessica. Good to see everyone in the comment sections. We've got a great guest. We've seen him around a bunch in Toronto at events here. He's a fellow Canadian, and also on the Online Seller Cruise too. He was most recently on your webinar too, and I believe he
won.
He won, yeah.
So yeah, for the tips, we had a contest, and Matt won. So if you haven't checked it out, you can just go to our YouTube channel, the Marketing Misfits podcast, and you can check them all out. So they're all broken down into chapters, so you could just click and you'll go right to the tips. But yeah, it was very good. Got a lot of great feedback from that. And also, by the way, we had a really great Marketing Misfits interview yesterday. But if you haven't checked it out, check out the Marketing Misfits. It's available now on all major podcasts, I believe, hopefully, but Apple for sure, and our YouTube channel. So if you want to, watch a video of us, I think that it's definitely something very different. Different podcast altogether. So it's just very casual. Kevin and I talking back and forth with the guest, and they're just dropping all sorts of marketing information. It's really good. I'm a little biased. And hopefully you guys liked our newsletter. The story that came out yesterday was pretty interesting. A little mob story for you. If you haven't checked that out, go to lunchwithnorm.beehive.com. Kels, is there anything else?
No, I think we covered everything. Links are in the description too if you're looking for that. But I think we're good to go.
Hey, did you get any comments on that story?
I haven't through the newsletter, but have you on your side? Has anyone reached out to you?
I haven't seen anything today, and I thought for sure there'd be some comments about that one.
yeah, I'll let you know if we get
all right. Any. Okay, so if you have any questions or comments, throw them over into the comments section, and let's sit back, relax, grab a cup of coffee, and welcome Matt.
Hey, how's it going?
Good. How's it going with you?
Busy, busy, but can't complain, right? Rather be busy than bored.
Yeah, you're in Toronto.
Yeah, I'm a little bit north of Toronto, so about an hour north, depending on traffic.
No, I was just wondering if you're in Toronto today. Finally we got some nice weather.
Yeah, no, yeah, it's not bad at all, right? Nice and warm, and not raining. Last week there was a lot of rain.
Yeah, yeah. So we got an interesting topic today. Lots of people are talking about AI. Lots of people are talking about these different LLM models. We talk about this every Wednesday, but we don't talk a lot about what Amazon's trying to do. Now, we had Max Sinclair on, and he was talking a little bit about it the other day. But let's talk about, first of all, the Amazon AI. What is it?
Yeah, so I mean, I mean, we know like Amazon's using AI for everything basically, and we kind of already know about some of the theoretical things that they're using it for. But yeah, what I'm hoping to chat about too is to get a little bit more practical. Like, how can we actually use the stuff? Or there's probably some stuff available today that some sellers don't even know is live and active on their listing, and yeah, I'm happy to share and touch base on that sort of
Well, let's do that.
stuff.
Let's talk about that. Let's start dropping some. Well, I hate nuggets. Cool ideas.
Awesome, yeah. So I mean, I'll just touch base on the stuff that we kind of already know about. We've kind of already discussed. So obviously, the Rufus app, right? That's coming. Or more, it's there, but there's some things that sellers will want to do to make sure that they're showing up there. We talked about Cosmo as well too, just how they're kind of like linking up common sense behavioral stuff. Like that's going to be kind of like the new back end of their search. There's even something I don't know if people have heard about Amazon Q, where it's an AI, it's a generative AI powered assistant, but designed more for businesses and software developers to kind of like assist them do things. And that's super interesting to me, obviously, because I'm software, but I can totally see them using that as something in Seller Central as well. So all the reports, all the data that you have as a seller, be very easy for Amazon to connect it with Amazon Q, and then you're able to make queries and reports and customizations based on your Seller Central data. So this is
Wouldn't that be
hypothetical.
great? Instead
Yeah.
of having to hunt or try to find a report that you might not know exists, and you could just enter it into queue. That would be, yeah, awesome.
Even better if they used it as like a support thing. So sometimes, if it could actually take care of Amazon support, because obviously that's,
Oh,
everyone
pet
knows.
peeve.
Yeah,
Pet peeve. I could just look at everybody that's commented here. It's a big pet peeve.
yeah, yeah. Then that being said, some of the stuff that's like on the listings now available today, like, view in my room. So this works really well for furniture sellers, right? But obviously it's a very specific category and not everyone's selling furniture or things that make sense for view in my room. They also have, virtual try-on. So anything with shoes and some clothing, that sort of stuff, you can actually see what it looks like. So, but again, very specific category and use case for it. What's crazy and what I talked about a little, really briefly in that hack contest with the Marketing Misfits webinar, was this new thing that's live today called Create Style Ideas. And what it is right now, so it's only on certain categories, and I can give you a bunch of examples of which categories it's on, but essentially it allows the consumer to take whatever product it is and place it in a scenario of how they might be using it. So, for example, if you sell a tent and you want to see the tent in a specific campground scenario, that's a thing. And what's exciting and interesting is that it's a heck of a lot more categories than just furniture in a room and shoes and that sort of thing. It's available in categories like water bottles, TVs, refrigerators, litter boxes, cat food. So and I don't know the rhyme or reason for why these categories have it, but it's probably something that they're rolling out to more and more as we speak.
So visualize a dog eating cat food. Visualize a lizard eating cat food. What the heck? Cat food?
Kind of weird, right? And
Yeah.
there was one, and the other part is Amazon actually has prompts ready for you to go. So like you can obviously put your own prompt in, but it'll actually give you some starter prompts, and some of them are actually really bad and weird. I mean, bad but good. So one of them that was particular with me was that stood out to me was so there was a bag of like Scott's grass seed, and the prompt was I think it was with a raccoon in Tokyo or something like that.
What?
Yeah. And so you do it, and then it literally generates the bag of grass seed with a raccoon holding it, and in the background you see Tokyo Tower. So it did it, interestingly enough. And then it also gets watermarked. It says like made with Amazon AI. Um, so kind of strange and silly. So, but want to think about like why are they doing this, right? Like, because it's wacky. Like, who cares? Who would want to see their product in that kind of random thing? And my thought is, I mean, they're doing this to make it very shareable. So, and they're very proud of putting Amazon AI as a watermark on it too. So, um, but basically, it's creating content, and the name of the game, obviously, with conversions, and we can go through some stats too, is the more time people are playing with your listing, the more time they're kind of involved with with your product, the higher likelihood they'll convert. So hopefully they're not just doing the AI generation things, but because they're being involved with it, they're playing with it, they're doing more, they're interacting on the listing. It's a higher likelihood that they'll buy. But the other aspect, which was super interesting to me, is in these generations, they're also generating other products in the generation behind the scenes too. So now when you create, say for example, you have a can of Pepsi and you place it on a counter, behind the can of Pepsi on the counter, there's a bookcase and it has a bunch of vases that are generated as well. So now there's hot links and it lets you buy the products that were generated in the AI generation. So it's kind of crazy what they're doing. They're basically gonna, I mean, eventually it'll come to the point where you can picture whatever product in whatever scenario, and then Amazon will intelligently place other products like it, so you can buy the whole bloody thing in one go. And that's what it's coming to.
Wow. It's interesting. I was at an Empowery summit in Bellevue, Washington, and we went over to eBay. This is pre-COVID, and eBay was doing this sort of thing with the view in my room and the sort of the augmented reality, which is really cool. And now with the advancements in AI, we're starting to see the tip of the iceberg. This is just the start. And I think all of these, I don't know who the next Amazon's going to be. I don't know who the next Google will be, probably Perplexity right now.
Yeah.
But things are about to shake up. And the people and the companies that are on the ball, it's interesting. I love history. And one of the things that with the carriage transforming over to the automobile, everybody thought that the automobile was a fad. There was two brothers that kind of went, you know what? This might be something. Their last name was Chrysler. And they jumped on the bandwagon, and they were the leaders for a long period of time until other people took that over. That's going to happen here too. It's going to happen. I don't know what that's going to be. I wish I was a futurist, but but it's incredible. Like if anybody here has any ideas on that, like I see Simon in there, Luke, Steve. I mean, if you guys have any ideas about what's going to come out, be interesting to get your input here. Marina, Jessica, Rad, just throw it in the comment section. But what do you see happening? What's the next thing that you're seeing outside of, you just gave some really great ideas that's happening right now. with the hotspots, right? Anything else happening?
Yeah, I mean, well, you mentioned as well with so I'm a like Perplexity kind of replacing Google. That's a big shift that's coming as well. And something else that sellers can do is actually prepare for that. So like how to get, Chat GPT or Perplexity to actually recommend your products. And a good example of that was one of my developers, he's like all in into biking. And I'm not, but I used to do some mountain biking back in the day, but I didn't even know there was a such thing as like $10,000 bikes, right? Like I didn't even know the categories, that sort of thing. And you go to Google and you search for bikes on Google, and it's just like a Reddit thread and like this that I have to kind of like scrape for the information. You go to Perplexity or you go to Chat GPT, and then all of a sudden it tells you like, hey, here are the brands of bicycles to look at. Here are the things to look for, categories, that sort of thing. So all the information is handed to you on a silver platter. So being a seller of products is trying to understand and figure out, what, like how to be there, because that's where the market's going. That's where everything is going to be. And I was also reading recently too with Amazon, their Alexa. I mean, Alexa is not great to be honest. Like now, like, compared to what Chat GPT and everything else can do, but they're going to be bringing that like LLM functionality to Alexa soon. So it will be, how do you get your products where people are at the end of the day. And yeah, I agree. People are moving towards Perplexity and other kind of like AI for searches.
That the old Alexa
Yeah.
scares the hell out of me. You know, it was funny because just yesterday during the podcast, just pre-podcast, Kevin and I are talking, and I went upstairs and I was watching YouTube, and all of a sudden I started getting advertisements on YouTube about stuff I was talking about with Kevin. It freaks me out.
That happened with me. I mean, we all know Facebook does that, right? So like, I was talking to my wife about planting, I think boxwoods or something like that, and then all of a sudden on Facebook Marketplace, it was like all the boxwoods I could ever imagine to be buying. So yeah, no, absolutely.
I saw a comment here. Kels, can you read that? It's from Simon.
It's a question here. There's a huge
Oh.
amount of discontent with Amazon, and sellers are pulling out in record numbers. Surely they must be aware of this and adjust accordingly.
What do you think, Matt?
Yeah, so I mean, like, so just people not being happy with Amazon in general and pulling out. I mean, hey, I mean, as a seller myself, great, right? Less competition. But I mean, you have to, as a business owner, I mean, I can go into the weeds with this one, but essentially, at the end of the day, if you're building a brand, like Amazon is just a channel, right? So if you're following how to actually build a brand that has the target person, um, Amazon to you should just be like another channel that you use as as a sales source, that sort of thing. Versus a lot of people jump into Amazon thinking it's like the holy grail of business, and maybe it was like 5 years.
2013.
Yeah, I was gonna say 5, 10 years ago. But really, it should be managed as a channel, and channels evolve. Some will come, some will go. TikTok Shop, Temu. So as a business owner, it's just really rolling with the punches, and as an entrepreneur, that's the name of the game. Like it's not easy, right? Because things are gonna um, yeah, things are going to be thrown at you, and you just have to figure out how to manage it. And one major tip, this is getting a little philosophical, but one thing I've always kind of lived by is understanding a concept called like where do you place your locus of control. So the most successful people have an internal locus of control. So they basically assume that they control their destiny. They're in charge of how stuff shapes out. They're in control of how they can be successful. Or people that have an external locus of control, blame other things, right? So, for example, if you didn't study for that test, it's the professor's fault because the test they made it too hard or they didn't teach the things right or whatever it is. Versus someone who has internal, it's kind of like yeah, I could have studied better. I could have done this differently, that sort of thing. And I think as an entrepreneur, you really need to have thick skin and have that internal sense of control that you control your destiny. So it doesn't matter what Amazon does. You are the one that can make things happen, no matter what's thrown at you.
Well, I think one of the things that we have to look at too is Amazon sellers. So, we tend to blame Amazon quite a bit. We blame them for trying to push us off their platform and have their own brands, basically, to get rid of private label sellers. I've heard this a million times, right? The way that they treat us. And, other people come back and they say, look, they're running a business, they're protecting themselves against lawsuits. But in the end, there's been some pretty interesting things that have happened that show that Amazon, this is just my opinion. Please don't come after me. But Amazon isn't all in it for the seller. This is strictly my opinion. And I know there are some really intelligent people out there that are saying no, that's wrong, wrong, wrong. Here's my conspiracy thing. Who programs the algorithm? Who programs what's going to be seen in the future? And I wonder, just a thought, if this is just another giant step for Amazon to put the finger to the seller. I don't know if that's going to happen, but it just they've done some really strange things in the past, and I just kind of think, are they going to, or who are they going to promote with this new algorithm? Is it who gives them the most money? Is it, I don't know. But somehow I think it's like going to Vegas and the house always wins. So
I agree. Yeah, and I agree with you on that. And it kind of it kind of makes sense on Amazon's part. I mean, at the end of the day, it's whatever makes them the most money. It's a business, right? So, um, but yeah, I agree. They've done a lot of things that are like the low inventory fee. At least, yeah, they did some. Hey, we'll give you an extra couple of weeks and this sort of thing. But I agree. They're in it to make money. And what I am excited for is, yeah, like the TikTok shops of the world, kind of giving them a run for their money. Because then it's like
yeah,
they'll have to balance. There'll have to be more checks and balances in there. Right now, they're a monopoly. They can pretty much do what they want.
right. The TikToks are and going down the AI route, what's coming out, what's the new trend, with the TikTok shop, with Walmart, a couple of other platforms that are, coming out. It'll be interesting to see, because right now, a lot of us have got a lot of our eggs in one basket. We start to diversify and go omni-channel, but you don't put enough effort into it. Walmart might not be making you enough money. eBay might not be. And believe it or not, like eBay is still a great source for selling private label products. And they're spending a lot of time on brand and rebranding. So is Walmart, by the way, for the sellers, providing new tools, which is pretty cool. But I guess the next step would be, why is Amazon all in with AI?
Yeah, totally. And just as a practical takeaway too from the create uh, style ideas topic is like actually go and check if this is available on your product. So it's available only on mobile. So you can just check and see, and you'll see a little button there that says, create style ideas. And maybe it's something you do to make a customer contest, like, hey, generate something that's funny, make a meme, whatever it is, just a way to get some UGC out of it, and you're
Mhm.
using Amazon. So just as a practical takeaway on that. But yeah, so I mean, why is Amazon all in with AI? Well, there was like a earnings call with Andy Jassy, and one of the things he said specifically was generative AI may be the largest technological transformation since the cloud, which itself is still in the early stages, and perhaps since the internet. So his mindset right there is like everything generative AI. He's also said like virtually every customer experience is going to be reinvented by generative AI. Like every single part of Amazon is working on generative AI applications. So just coming from the top, we know that that's their direction on what they're doing. And like we were saying earlier, in terms of making more money, they have some stats that show that when people interact more with the listings and interact with these AI things, presumably will convert more and make more sales. So directly from Amazon, there's a 2 times improvement in purchase conversion when shoppers act with when shoppers interact with the virtual try-on or view in 3D. So 2 times more people buy if they're interacting with the listing using those tools. There was also 9% improvement in sales on average when the view in your room is enabled on a listing. So, but those interactions were always just available for specific categories, right? You had to be selling furniture, you had to be selling shoes or whatever it is. Now with this generative AI, it's available to a heck of a lot more categories. So the implication of it and the hope is that by offering these tools and whatever it is, more interactions, more conversions, and that's not even touching on how their search algorithm is going to change and how Rufus is going to suggest products and that sort of thing.
Yeah, that'll be interesting as it gets to know your personality, just like it is now. It's gathering more information. The product selection. When you go and search Amazon, you might be looking at one product, but because of past buying habits, it might bring up 2 or 3 that are a lot more have a lot more conversion potential. And again, they do that right now, but I think it'll be more refined later on in the future. So it's the bottom of the hour. And if this is the first time you're listening to the podcast, and I see we have a bunch of people on, probably a few new ones, we have something at the top of the hour called the Wheel of Kelsey. And that's where our guest gives away a product or a service. And all you need to do to get into the contest is to do hashtag Wheel of Kelsey, or you can tag 2 people and you get a second entry. Matt, now outside of donuts and toques, because you're Canadian, or Tim Hortons coffee, what do you have to give away?
just the donuts and some hockey lessons maybe.
Yeah, hockey. Yeah.
So basically, if we'll go into how we can use product opinions for some AI stuff and get ready for your listing. So basically, you'll get $200 worth of credits to play with product opinion, and then on top of that, we'll sit down, we'll have a chat for 20-30 minutes about what we can do to make your listing convert more and sell more as well.
All right, and before I forget, what's product opinion?
Yeah, so product opinion is consumer insights made easy. So basically, we have hundreds of thousands of shoppers at your fingertips to give you suggestions on what designs, products, ideas will convert better and sell more. And we can do some cool stuff like even watch people how they shop and kind of do like customer shopper interviews.
There's a heat map too, you can see.
Yeah, a lot of there's a lot of we'll touch on some of the things that you can do with it.
All right, very good. Okay, so yes, Kelsey.
I've got one extra thing that I want to throw in here. I've been talking to a fellow beardo named Tony Cigar. He does Down Under products.
They're
on
awesome
Amazon,
products.
and he's giving away. He wants to give away 2 free leather aprons, courtesy of Down Under. So if you're interested for that, this is U.S. Canada only. Use the word hashtag Beardo to enter the leather apron contest. So this is a separate thing, just an additional thing that we're doing. We just had a Beardo wanting to give to the community. So again,
That's
this is
awesome.
US Canada only for a leather like workshop apron.
And these are really beautiful, expensive aprons. So hashtag Beardo. Thanks for reminding me about that. Okay, so let me talk about start, scale, exit, repeat. Hey, look, it didn't blur. Start, scale, exit, repeat. And this book is by Colin Campbell. It's a book that was published earlier on this year. It's his last 10 years. It's taken him 10 years to write this book. And he's been an entrepreneur for about 30 years. And he's started and exited a bunch of different companies. So what he's done is he's taken each one of these sections, broken it down into 4 different chapters, and then subsections within that. So it acts like a reference guide. So start, scale, exit, repeat. It's on Amazon. It's available in Kindle, hardcover, softcover, and it's also available on Audible. Now, one last thing about the book, it's published by Forbes, and I think it was last week, he was still holding number 2 in overall small business, but he's been number 1 in approximately 15 categories. It's an awesome book. I read it. He's a buddy of mine. He's asked me what I thought about it, and I told him I think it's probably one of the best books I've read on business. So no matter where you are on your entrepreneurial journey, check it out. It's an awesome read. Okay, now let's get back to it. So just a quick reminder, because this is unusual for us. There's 2 giveaways today. So we've got the hashtag Wheel of Kelsey, tag 2 people, you get a second entry. And then there's the hashtag Beardo for the apron, the work apron from Tony. Okay, let's see what else. Do you think AI is just going to replace what we're doing as humans for Amazon listings, your competitive analysis, everything that's going on in Amazon, creativity?
Yeah, so I mean, I think I don't think it can replace. At the end of the day, like we're selling, our products are being sold to people. And I mean, obviously AI is amazing and it's getting really good at, creating those avatars and kind of getting specific. But at the end of the day, it is taking, like with the LLMs, it's taking like the group of data together, and you're kind of getting, sometimes it can be pretty vague, right? So if
Mhm.
you're asking for like, hey, how do I fix this product or make it better? It's like increase the quality. Well, okay, thanks. I got that. Versus where if you're talking to shoppers and doing shopper interviews, you get the context, right? So everything is about, like with the AI, if it doesn't have the context, it can't. You start getting the hallucinations. You can't get into the specifics. And you also eliminate that emotional side of things. Like people are very emotional creatures. They don't buy for a reason. I think it's said like 95% of purchase decisions are based on emotion, not rational thought. You rationalize it after you purchased it. Like, oh yeah, that was a good buy because I got a deal and the coupon, whatever, whatever. But the initial purchase is usually an emotional thing. So, um, yeah, no, I mean, I don't think it'll ever replace real consumer insights, but obviously it's something that speeds up the work and can kind of get you those patterns and data that you need to make better decisions on your business and on your products.
Yeah, one of the things I'd like to suggest is for people to go in and summarize different LLMs. So you've got, ChatGPT, you've got Claude, you've got a bunch of other ChatGPTs, and there's an app out there. I think it's just called Summarize. Summarize. I think it's just called Summarize. And what it does is every time you run a search query, it'll come back, and you can just go and see each one of the LLMs that you either have a subscription or what's free. And it's really surprising how different LLMs respond to different queries. In fact, even for competitive analysis, now we can run these competitive analysis like on Claude, which is fantastic. But you could just go right into your competitors' listings and get a competitive analysis from, here's 3 different competitors, here's mine, and which is better? Why is it better? And start throwing in some questions. It's fantastic. The other thing I love about AI is, garbage in, garbage out. But if you put in restricted words, TOS, whatever you're looking for, and you start, you just start a conversation, the information that you can, not the information, but the information, the copy that you get is fantastic. Like it takes out a lot of the the human element out of it. Like I'm still approving it, I'm still editing it, but I just find it to be a lot easier. By the way, John Benson was on a little while ago, and after he came on with his AI templates with Benson BNSN, I joined it. I mean, I paid. He came on, he talked about it, and he said the whole time he was stressing prompt, 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 and just the way he's designed the prompts. I tell you, the sales letters, the VSLs, the emails takes the guesswork out of everything. So, have you ever tried that, Benson?
I haven't played with Benson. No, that sounds interesting.
Oh God, yeah, you gotta give it a shot. So Kevin and I jumped on it. So I started, he came on, and just the ability for it to whip off a full funnel, a newsletter, a full sequence. Now you have to put information in, but the way it's written, it's like Perry Belcher just wrote it for you, or John Benson. It's very, very good.
That's cool. And the key is obviously garbage in, garbage out. And what we're seeing a lot of people doing is I mean, to get good information, you can actually do these kind of like real consumer insight stuff. So show people your product, get them to answer questions out loud, and then you're getting their natural language as they're reviewing your very specific product and telling you very specific things. I can give you some examples too. Like one of the products I work with, it's a very simple luggage tag. So it's the most like generic thing in the world, very generic category. But one of the people that were looking at it, they're like, hey, why don't you just like fold the metal up so that it just makes it stronger, right? Like do this little tweak. And I was like, holy shit, that's a great idea that I've been selling this product for like 8 years, never really occurred to me. And it's actually something that has that could be getting a patent for. So, getting really niche specific stuff can come to light when you're talking to people. Um, Another one was on a passport holder. Just for example, like a lady was like, "Oh, that's super super ugly," right? With a lot of the competitors, passport holders have the air tag on the outside, so there's this big bump on it. And she was just expressing how like she would never buy something just because it looked that ugly. And it's like, oh, okay. The idea is now let's put the air tag holder on the inside. So yeah, it definitely gives you a different level of, depending on what you're doing, it gives you a different level of insights. But you can also throw all those insights that you get and from people, and then ask the AI to like summarize what are the commonalities, what are the basically give the AI the real data to work with, and then your output is going to be that much stronger.
We had a really great Marketing Misfits interview yesterday, and I'll wait till it comes out. But one of the things our guest talked about, it was incredible, and I can see how we can use this with AI. But there was no category. He invented something that nobody else invented, and he needed to create that want. And you could go to AI and pump it in. And by the way, I don't have an affiliate. I don't think John has an affiliate program, but Benson would be awesome for this. If you have no market and you want to create that, you can go into Claude or go into ChatGPT and ask it what you need to do, to create a market around that. And of course, I mean, the one thing, and I thank you for not pitching, but the thing you can do with all this information is then put it into Product Opinion and get more information. So, your searches might be vague, or they might, the product, just like you were talking about, little things that could change that conversion that you'd never know because you're too close to your product. And I want to go down. I know I went down a few rabbit holes today, but this is so important. But also, let's go back to challenges that Amazon sellers, face with AI. And one of the things that I still see is it's very vague. It's just not specific enough, or the emotion, they don't bring out the emotion or expectations or style or tone. Anything to add to that?
Yeah, I mean that, and also like as I mean, not even just an Amazon seller, but as a business owner, it's kind of overwhelming, right? Because it's like it's in your face. Oh, this is coming, this new thing. Like every week there's something new. But I think it's important to remember at the end of the day, we're selling. We have to be aware of all those things, but we're selling to people. So I always like to go back to the aspect of like, like how like obviously know the tools and see how they can be worked in the business, but it's refreshing when you get to actually, I don't know how many people do like real interviews with their customers, but
So
it
important.
it's amazing, like just talking to real people that have bought your product, and like you know it it kind of it's like a refreshing
Yeah.
side of things, right?
First time, and I'm old. I consider myself old school marketing. And I forgot about this for years. I'm in Mexico, sourcing trip, the Mexico sourcing trip, I think it was called. And Sean Hart's up on stage. Sean. And he's doing his thing, and he's saying, these $1,000 cash bonuses. What Sean does on stage, he cracks me up. But one thing he said is, have you ever called your customer? And I sat there and I said, that's the nugget for this whole trip. This is what's going to change what I do, because that's what we used to do. We used to reach out, call the customer, ask them their opinion. And it's way different than an email, because the feeling, the tone, you can. Have you ever got an email that you thought you were getting cussed out, or you just read it wrong? That doesn't happen when you're talking to somebody directly. You can hear what they're saying. You can hear their tone of voice. It makes a completely different answer.
I used to love the days when we got customers' cell phone or not cell phones, but just phone numbers on Amazon, right? So there was a
Yeah.
time where we got their phone numbers, and it's so amazing. You can get customers that will cuss you out in an email, like, "Oh, I'm gonna leave you a bad review, this left, right, center, whatever," and you phone them, and they're a completely different person. And then once they realize that, like, hey, there's a human on the other side of the screen, on the other side of this business, you can turn those things around very quickly. So yeah, I totally agree with that. Like talk to your shoppers, talk to customers. It's at the end of the day, that's the core of why you're in business. I was going to mention too, like the Fortune 500 spend still, like with all the AI and everything that they could do, they still spend billions and billions of dollars on focus groups and like actual real, like real shopper kind of insights. So, hey, any way that I can bring that to smaller businesses, I'm game and I'm happy to do so.
Yeah. Just to touch on it again, uh, there's nothing more powerful than customer insights. That's what's driving your business. So what you can do, or wherever you can get that, if it's a follow-up email, if it's a call, just try to get that info. All right, we got a few questions, Kelsey.
Yes, we got a few questions here. These comments from Simon. eBay are going large, more and more sponsorship in motorsport. There are 100 other very interesting marketplaces out there.
I think when Max Sinclair was on, he was saying, I think it was eBay, that is, and I'm nothing that's not private. He said it on the podcast, but I think eBay took a stake in his company. So yeah, they're aggressive. All right, next.
Okay, next, Michelle and Howie are saying Amazon is necessary by the fact that it accounts for over 70% of North American e-commerce.
That's absolutely 100%. That's the range. It's at 70% right now. However, and I remember this with Walmart. I've told this story before, but I remember visiting my parents. They're in Maine, and we were just sitting out. My dad and I were having a cigar, and he was talking about Walmart. Every 16 miles there'll be a Walmart, and we were talking about nobody's ever going to be able to compete with a Walmart. Nobody. Well, all of a sudden, this little company sneaks up, bites it in the ass, and becomes much bigger. Well, believe me, there are going to be more online or other types of services that are going to come up and bite Amazon in the butt. And it's not going to take away that 70%, but it's always good just to be on the trends. When I got in, let's say 2013 to 2015, if I talked to any broker aggregator at the time, or brokers at the time, aggregators later on, they would not have anything to do with any company that was omni-channel, or should I say their valuation never went up. You could be doing a ton on Walmart or a ton in retail. Your valuation was based on Amazon. That has changed completely now. So yeah, I right now 70%, but as you diversify, that can change, and hopefully it does. 70% is way too much to put into one company.
And then the last comment is from Rad. And he says the concept of AI often appears to be an alien invasion to me.
That's what it stands for, right?
Yeah, that's right. When we look at what's happening and how fast it's happening, I like to get your opinion on this. How do you keep up?
Yeah, that's a good question. I mean, some of it's through just the official sources, so just being subscribed to, like, Amazon puts out, when they're announcing anything, they put out their newsletters, their blog posts, that sort of thing. But just following your podcast, following Kevin's as well, just really good sources of information of what's coming. Also being very close to sellers, so there's a few sellers that we work closely with that get invited to. There's a few programs inside of Amazon where if you're doing enough volume, they start doing experiments with you, and you can opt into it. So there's some cool stuff that's coming that I'll be talking about a little bit later. Where they're split testing right now just how images show up with basically Amazon's making it. Okay, so high level, Amazon's going to be making infographics for you, and those will be part of the feature set images that are in your listing. So they're split testing it right now, but if it does get rolled out, it'd be pretty cool, and it makes a lot of sense for them to do that.
Yeah. Okay, and let me see. I don't think we have any more questions. Okay, just before we go over to the Wheel of Kelsey, if you haven't heard, if you're just joining us, today's giveaway, what is that, Matt?
Yeah, so you'll be able to get a couple $100 worth of testing credits. So basically, you'll be able to ask real people for insights on your listing. And then on top of that, I'll hop on a call with you for about half an hour. We'll go through all the, after doing thousands of tests, I can probably give you at least 2-3 tips and tricks to make sure that your listing's converting better and is ready for the AI side of things.
Oh, that's fantastic. And to enter, it's hashtag Wheel of Kelsey. Tag 2 people, you get a second entry. And thank you to Tony Cigar, for giving us 2 really beautiful leather aprons. And I've got one here, and it's fantastic. Tony, thank you again. If you're interested in that, that's hashtag Beardo, and we're giving away 2 today. So that's new to the podcast. We don't normally do that. Okay, what is this? Simon, can you say that again? Amazon will be creating. Oh, okay, go ahead.
So it's something it's something that it's not released to anyone right now. Besides, you have to be invited for it. But essentially, they're doing something mixed with A+ content where your image, you'll actually be able to make your images like infographics with special callouts. So basically, just how do I get the information is like, staying close to sellers, seeing what pops up. What's a lot of time it's 2-way, right? So like sellers will ask you, hey, what should I be testing, that sort of thing, and then they'll also share like, hey, there's this new PPC kind of ads that maybe we should test and that sort of thing. And yeah, I'm happy to help with both. But yeah, I'll share more on that. You'll hear more about that soon, I promise.
All right. Fantastic. Okay. So, Kels, let's go to a ad and then we'll go over to the wheel. Facing cash flow challenges with your e-commerce business? Discover Viably, your ultimate financial ally. From real-time sales data integrations to immediate funding access, Viably is here to support you. Plan your growth with their free tool for online sellers and engage with specialists whenever you need. Extend your cash flow with Viably. All right. Matt, contact information.
Yeah, easiest way to get in touch is just matt@productpinion.com. And then you obviously can check us out at our site as well.
Okay, very good. Okay, let's go to the wheel.
It's time for the Wheel of Elsie.
Okay, let's see if we can hear Kelsey.
All right. So I'm going to shuffle these up. We've got 2 to give away. So this one is for the aprons.
Okay.
So our first winner for the apron.
Drip.
Looks like it is. Does Drip keep it? Drip.
Yes.
Okay. And then we're going to spin this one more time. We will probably do 1 or 2 other giveaways of the aprons throughout the next week or 2. So stick around for that.
All right, Jessica.
So Jessica and Drip, if you could please send me your addresses, k@lunchwithnorm.com. Thanks everyone for entering. And then we've got our big giveaway from Matt. So let me just share my screen here. All right, shuffling these up. All right, so this is for the $200 credit for Product Opinion. And Michelle.
Woo. Congrats, Michelle.
This
All
is
right.
from YouTube, I believe. So Michelle, please email me, k@lunchwithnorm.com. And we also have a 7-day trial for Product Opinion too. So I dropped the link just a few minutes ago, but I'm going to repost it. But check it out. Get a 7-day free trial. And I think that's it.
All right, fantastic. Matt, thanks for coming back.
Anytime. Appreciate having me.
Hey, no problem. All right, now it's time for lunch, right? In Toronto.
Yep, let's do it.
Donuts and coffee. See you at the shop.
See you at 2.
All right, Matt. See you later. All right, everybody. I hope you enjoyed today's show. Kels, where are you?
All right. Well, thanks everyone for joining us today. Just a heads up for the next week on next Friday, we're going to be heading out to Hawaii. So we've got some pre-records happening. We've been recording a bunch leading up to the event. So we do have some pre-records happening. So that's coming up in the next couple of weeks for you guys. And just make sure you sign up for our newsletter too and WhatsApp group for any news and updates from us. When, say, an episode last minute changes or something, we're going to be dropping that in the WhatsApp groups. Or there's issues with giveaways or anything like that. The WhatsApp groups are just a great way to like communicate with the community all at once. So I think that's it.
Okay. All right, everybody. Thanks for joining us today. You can join us live every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at noon Eastern Standard Time. Okay, we will see you on Friday. I can't believe it's Friday already. Okay, see you.
Lunch with